How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a good day so far. The transfer portal, it's in full effect. It is in full effect, and Penn State is one of the main teams in this action. You see guys leaving nonstop, you see guys coming back, and there was a big group of guys, mainly on the defense, that Penn State really, really wanted Matt Campbell to come in and retain. One guy being probably the main player on the entire roster, maybe I'd say the first or second player on the entire roster that people wanted back. And we're going to talk about that because he's back. And that is Tony Rojas. So, Matt Campbell, he's done an amazing job. He has done an absolutely amazing job at retaining the talent that I'd say a lot of Penn State fans really, really wanted back. Yeah, you're going to lose some. When you fire your head coach, and a lot of these guys committed to a certain head coach in James Franklin, it's going to be tough to keep him. It is going to be very tough to keep him once that head coach is gone elsewhere, especially when they get hired to another program. And these players have the opportunity to transfer out of Penn State and go follow the coach that they originally committed to. It's tough. It is a tough business on the players. It is a tough business for the fans, like watching this, seeing their favorite players leave. But I think Penn State and Matt Campbell have done an outstanding job at retaining the key guys, or at least most of the key guys. Yeah, you did lose some, like I said, but that's going to happen. But I think you got some key pieces, 4 key pieces I'm going to talk about on the defense back. Number one, Tony Rojas. So, Tony Rojas was, I'd say, you could say second or third on my entire list, maybe even first. I wanted Tony Rojas back almost more than anybody. First off, I wanted Ethan Grunkmeyer back because I think he has a very bright future and he's a quarterback, and that is the most valuable position on the field. The next one is Chaz Coleman. Really wanted Chaz Coleman back. Another guy several years ahead of him. Seemed like the next Abdul Carter type. But Tony Rojas was right there with those guys. Tony Rojas is an absolute game changer, and I think a lot of Penn State fans are going to agree, and also agree with me that Tony Rojas very high on this list of players that you were hoping to retain. If you look at Tony Rojas, pay attention before he went down with an injury last year. Pay attention to what this defense looked like before and after. This defense didn't look near the same once Rojas is gone. You know what that tells me? When you play in a very important position like linebacker, in a very historic program for linebackers, and the defense just falls apart when you're gone, that's saying something. That is saying that you're a true leader out there. That's saying that you're a true difference maker out there. That's showing that you are, I'd go as far as saying an elite player. When I look at Tony Rojas, I see a potential first round talent when talking NFL. I think that he has all the tools to go in the first round, and he's that classic gritty, tough, strong LBU feel. Like, just at Penn State, he's the perfect fit at Penn State, in my opinion. And I think it was incredible to go out there and retain him, because there was a lot of talk about him possibly leaving and following James Franklin. There was even some cryptic posts all over Twitter from the fan bases, from just all over the place on Twitter, about maybe Tony Rojas being on the way out, along with some of these other guys. Now, another thing that I really like about this, remember when I say he's a leader? I think that Tony Rojas I think he's such an important factor, and such an important factor, I'd say, on the field and in the locker room, that the second he announced he was going to come back, I would like to guess and think there were some other guys on the defensive side of the ball that said, yep, we're in. We're all in. Because I think he's the leader on the defense. I really do. And I think he is massive. I think he is massive to come back. He's one of those guys that if he did enter the portal, it would suck to see him go play elsewhere, because he's going to be such a dog wherever he goes. Like, imagine seeing him going and playing at a Virginia Tech. Imagine going to see him play at like a Miami or a Georgia. Places that he's really going to stand out, which he stands out at Penn State. He stands out at Penn State massively. He's going to stand out anywhere he goes. But imagine this guy on like a Georgia defense or something that gets a lot of eyeballs from the national media and these national scouts and everything. I think it would pain me from a Penn State fan, or as a Penn State fan, to see a guy like this go succeed massively at another school, knowing that we could have brought him back. I think it just would have been a massive fumble. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. If Tony Rojas left, I would have still been a massive supporter, because I support everybody who leaves and goes. I get it. These kids are young. They got to do what's best for them. And if Tony thought that was best for him to leave, then you got to do what you got to do at a young age to get to the level that you're trying to get to. But I think Penn State is probably the best spot for him. It's a great fit, and I'm so excited to have him back. Now, the next one is Daryus Dixon. So Daryus Dixon, he's another very young guy. Very young guy. He's a freshman. He's a freshman that got some playing time from modern day. You don't see Penn State pick up these modern day guys from California that often. When you're looking at premier high school talent from a premier high school program, that is a massive get for Penn State. You remember he was a 4-star, borderline 5-star coming out of high school. You saw him get reps this year. He played in the Pinstripe Bowl. He played a lot through the year. This kid has it. This kid just has it. He's the next big defensive back. He reminds me a lot of Joey Porter Jr. plus some more. Like, I think his ceiling is higher than Joey Porter Jr. And that's saying a lot, because Joey Porter Jr. was absolutely massive at Penn State. I see Joey Porter Jr. and Daryus Dixon with a higher ceiling. And as long as Penn State can retain him, I think you're set out really on the boundary at defensive back. So if Daryus Dixon hit the portal, his market would have been pretty big. That modern day high school like background alone would be very big. I'm just saying. And you see it on the field. You see the productivity on the field. I was very worried about him leaving, and I'm stoked for Penn State to bring him back as well. I think this is another guy that just adds extra to the defense, and he's only going to get better and better and better, especially under this new coaching staff. Now, the next one is Max Granville. Another young guy. He's a freshman, another freshman. He kid from Texas. Now, he was supposed to start this year. I believe he was a redshirt freshman, by the way. He was supposed to start this year and dealt with an injury before the season started. Wasn't able to start. But when you have a guy that is on the edge, he's 6'3", 242. He can still go, probably going to bulk him up a little bit, I would assume, if you look at past Penn State and how they build their edge rushers and stuff. Probably going to bulk him up a little bit. Maybe he will fit that Abdul Carter type and not bulk up as much. I don't know. I don't know what Penn State's going to do with him, but Penn State's done very well with players off the edge as of these last few years. And Max Granville could be that next guy. He's a very high ceiling guy again. Any guy who is young, who is getting the opportunity to actually see the field and play as a freshman, no matter if it's a true freshman or a redshirt freshman, your ceiling is high. You're going to be something, I would assume. Max Granville is a guy. You know, if you listen to what was said about him all throughout camp, they had high praise for him. They had very high praise for him. And it sucks that he dealt with that injury, so we didn't get to see him play. But next year, fully believe that he's going to be on the field, and he's going to be a difference maker on that defense. And when you really look at how this defense is starting to shape out, yeah, you may have lost some guys, but you have some young studs. This is going to be a very young defense that can come straight in and put together a really good product on the field. So I think Max Granville is going to be a stud off the edge next year. Now, the next one is Dejuan Lane. So Dejuan Lane is another guy that I was really hoping to bring back, and I'm so glad they did. He's another guy. He's a safety. He's one of the better safeties on the team. When he was getting his reps, you know, we really saw him in the Pinstripe Bowl again, making plays, and Dejuan Lane's a big get. He is a big get because you're going to be pretty thin at some parts, and I think safety is one of those positions that you'll probably be pretty thin at. You know, you have Zakee Wheatley probably headed out, I think. I think he's going pro. I could be wrong, but I do think he is going pro. And then you have Dejuan Lane to step in as the main safety on this team. You know, King Mack is headed out. So this was big to retain him. And I still think you're probably going to go out and get another transfer portal safety from somewhere, because it's a pretty solid safety market, I would say. But this is a big get for Penn State, and he's only a sophomore going into his junior year. So like I said, I mean, Penn State, they retain some really good players. I'm not going to go too in-depth on any of these, as you could tell. But I just want to give my thoughts and opinions on it. And I do want to know what you guys think as well. I want to see what you guys think and who you're excited to see back. So if you're a Penn State fan, drop a comment and let me know what you think about some of the guys that we've retained, some of the guys that have walked to the transfer portal. Lots Penn State content coming. We're going to start pumping out a lot of Penn State content as we hear more in the transfer portal. I have a video coming out, so stay tuned for this. It's about pretty much every transfer portal target that Penn State is currently targeting, and some that it seems like we are going to for sure be getting. So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming this week, probably in these next few days. So if you did enjoy this, I would greatly appreciate it if you did drop a subscribe to the channel. All the Penn State fans have supported me massively, and I greatly appreciate that. I love getting support from the Penn State fan base. I love the fan base. And yeah, just stay tuned for these next few videos coming out, because there's a lot of news to break around this Penn State squad and new coaching staff and everything. So yeah, stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.